When I was young, I could do whatever I liked, just like a little rose blossoming. 1 year, 3 years, 4 years went by. And as I grew up, there were questions growing also, like a rose in a garden. But I had to decide whether to pull off the thorns and become a good rose in the eyes of others or leave the thorns to be truly natural. I wrote a story in my Chinese class 2 years ago. I consider it one of my best efforts. And I was very, very confident that I'll get a high score. My Chinese teacher had us use the symbol of flower to convey our ideas. And obviously, I chose roses. But when he read it, he wrote a single sentence that still makes me uncomfortable today. He wrote, "What have you written about here? I can't even understand it." He's been teaching more than 20 years, so he definitely can understand what I mean. It's just that he didn't like it very much. But this made me depressed. I started doubting my writing ability and the content and quality of my essay writing. And after a year, as I changed the way how I faced those comments, I read the essay again and all those doubts disappeared. I discovered that too many gardeners had their eyes on me. They wanted to prove me, change my shape, cut off my thorns, rearrange my petals, and alter my leaves, become someone different. And after this realization, I've decided to be a natural true rose, rather than a good one in the eyes of others. And for this, I will need to keep my thorns. But this idea has changed me. Now I'm more confident when I get a high score in an exam, confident when I get a prize in a competition, but still not confident in myself. Others were talking about me, judging my body size and my weight, and this was causing anxiety. Sometimes when I try on clothes to find the right fit for me, I have to go with the biggest one, the one that girls don't usually wear. And the vendor often looks at me quizzically, and this made me very, very embarrassed. And this doesn't only happen in the clothing stores, in school too. I see that look sometimes, and I felt they were still trying to prove me, cut off my thorns. And honestly, they got the upper hand. My mom often tells me that I should believe in myself and do the best I can. Pay no heed to those voices because they are wrong. Well, I tried to follow her advice, but at first, I just couldn't do it. I know those voices are reason, but somehow they drown out all others, even my mom's. Until one day, I looked through some childhood photos. I saw photos my mom had taken when I won my first international piano competition in Singapore. I saw photos of me speaking on stage for the first time. And I realized that in every picture, I was smiling. A face that looked so confident, so determined, and so natural. And I found myself on the verge of tears because there's another realization. I don't have to care about what others say or think because they are themselves and I am myself. Nothing can change that, and no one can overshadow your success and your accomplishments. I am myself. After all, despite everything, the natural true rose. Well, as an international GCS student, I've been conditioned to believe that achieving straight A's and getting in a great college is the only goal right now. But there's no mean the final goal. There's so much searching to do. As I was watching a video on TikTok the other day, a blogger citing the secret life of water media asked, "Have you found your negative 25?" And this got me thinking. In this story, all water can do is fantasize about how brave he is, how perfect he is, but the reality is polar opposite. He is not especially brave. His life isn't that perfect or successful. As a photo processor for a Life magazine, he lives vicariously stories and images captured by others. And when he's one day interested in finding the perfect cover shot for the final printed edition or negative number 25, taken by the world-renowned photojournalist Sean O'Connell and referred to as the quintessence of life, he discovers it has gone missing. And so began his fantastic quest for the enigmatic O'Connell and the elusive negative 25. Water travels to Greenland alone. riding a helicopter with a drunk pilot. He jumps out of planes, falls into the sea, and bravely fought off sharks. Next, he journeys to Iceland, escapes from the erupting volcano. He faces snow leopards in Afghanistan and treks through Himalayas as a cut off completely from the world. But nothing can stop him. Nothing can stop him from finding negative 25. Finally, he finds O'Connell in the peaks of Himalayas at the top of the world. He's told that negative 25 is in the wallet that he had been sent as a leaving present. So when he returns home, he finds it in his wallet. Does not open it and get to the magazine. A few weeks later, we see Walter walking down the street and he stops at a New Zealand. He sees the final printed issue of Life, and on the cover it says, dedicated to the people who made it. Sure enough, there's Walter, the cover star, scrutinizing negatives, doing the perfect job, and making it. And this is the end of the story. What I found out is we are all the authors of our own travelogue. It is blank at first, and we draw and write on it to make something unique, something special. It is a book of you. You have the right to write whatever you want on it. And life is just negative to begin with, and the quintessence of life is missing. The purpose of our lives is to find it. Find it, define it, and develop it. Like water. I can see myself from a brand new perspective now, and I'm using this to discover the potential that has been remained, buried for a long time. You cannot imagine how perfect you can be when realizing your potential. You cannot imagine the kind of achievement you can actually attain. You will never know how far you can go without pushing yourself. And before climbing Mount Everest, no one knew what the path up would be like. And no one could describe the scenery from the summits because no image existed. Only imagination could provide that. And no one knows what the negative holds until it is found, defined, and developed. So here's my device. Be the natural, true rose. Then find, define, and develop your negative 25. Be confident and recognize every evaluation of you, good and bad. It's your quest. You just need to believe in yourself and write your own travelogue. Don't be scared of fantasizing a little. Look back to those childhood photos and reconnect with that smiling face, full of confidence in the future. And later, when they have finished their pruning, quietly change it all back to the way nature intended. Because in the warm sun, all roses in the garden are dazzling. And you are the cover star. Thank you.